Okay. So now, of course, I have to clean all this up, but I got the registry thing going. It's working. It's going to crash or anything. Not this one. Quick list. There are some files I opened, but get rid of this. Get rid of that. And I'll just show you. I still have that window. Okay. So when I first run it, it just says new. I don't have anything in the list. That brings up one of these types of dialog. And put in a couple selections for types. Now I think this selection is saved somewhere else. I don't really know. So suppose one thing I'm going to do is cancel. Nothing happened. Now if I don't cancel, suppose I choose this. Now open. And now it's in the list, I can just choose it directly. Or I can add a new thing to the list. See, it's gone to where I was before. And maybe I'm looking for this source file. Okay. And it's there. Now, of course, this is the way it will be. There won't be any window. I'll just open a file if I like. Open a new file. Now that, I probably should give an H window or something so that it doesn't end up in the corner there. I'm not checking to see if the file is already in the list. You can add those little things. Go in the middle again. So that's the program working. So that means it's done, essentially. Now, for the registry fix, all I did was in my string list, before, when I was trying to remove the strings, that's right. Okay, now I'm not sure. I have to make sure that still that this is okay. Instead of going through that remove thing which crashed, I just delete the key entirely and then rebuild it. I mean, previously it was just a loop like this, and I was deleting all the keys. And something about the way I was doing that was wrong. I'm not exactly sure what. Moving subkey. HP. Enum just keeps, you keep calling this regenum value starting at 0, and it's supposed to get you the next element in the list. And it appears to be working, but this may be because of the way that deleting changed the size at the same time as it was doing the delete. So, well, I don't know. Anyway, that part works. Now, as far as the menu, similar problem. I add a new item. It's got the word, it has the word, which is off. Exit. Sorry, new here, right? Now, if I add a new item, it's going to go below this new, so maybe it would be good to have new top before. But anyway, stuck with it here. I stuck with the idea of it, having it here. In fact, I like it there. So I need to do the same thing with this. Clear everything out and rebuild it again. And that's not that hard. Reinit menu, destroy the menu. I could call this, I could combine these two and call that reset content, like for a list, like a C list or a C combo box. They all have a reset content function. And this gets the list from the quick list from the registry, iterate through the list, add a separator if there are things in the list, and then add the new item. And that's pretty much the whole program. Once something comes in here, this test tells me that they select the new. I'm not going to use the text new, but the new command. There might be a file called new. I get and set the last open directory. Okay, so that's this. And I put that as the initial dir. So the last place I tried to open a file and successfully opened the file is where I'm going to open it again. And I'm using the get open file name, which is an Explorer type, as you saw. Browsing thing, which allows you to set various filters. Takes a buffer for the result. 1024 is way more than I'll ever use. I could make it bigger, but I don't think the dialogue itself can go in much more than that. We might be able to get up to, 2000 max, not even. It's as you know, Explorer is not really long file name aware. There's a bunch of other things you can set in this great big structure. You can have callback. There's more flags. I have a hook function. You can have, default extension. I don't know what it needs these for. I think it's possible. Well, I know it. I've seen it. You can have text in here. So maybe that's referring to, the text that might go in there. Anyway, big complicated function should be tucked away into common somewhere. I would say maybe, yeah. Well, that could default to no. That can always be found. This you could pass in. This is the result. Don't pass in. This could be a standard thing taken from the registry, or you could pass the registry key in. And what I have in my other project is that it makes a key depending on the title and the program. So if it's program X open file, and it has a registry key for that, then it'll get the last directory where that program tried to open a file. And there's a saved version of this, or if I had saved file, this thing doesn't do anything. It just returns a path. So if I change the title to save file, it'll make another registry key and have a separate place where the last time it saved something. Okay. And then shell execute is quite simple. Open is the command. There are various what they call verbs you can pass to this execute function. Open is one of them. And the file name, the directory to be shown, and how to show it. Let's choose default. I don't know about this hwin. Now the last step in this program, well not the last step, but the window itself, right? This could be a pop-up. We don't care about the size. We want this hidden. SW. What? Yeah. Okay, there's that. I've chosen a window that I think a pop-up window. Cannot be used as charm. I think pop-up is like a dialogue. It still would have a title bar. You've got to be able to set the text. Oh, do that? Not really. Okay. So I don't care about that being visible. It won't be visible. Now somebody could try to make it visible with a Process Explorer or something. I don't care. Let them do it. And I haven't handled delete, although I can get the, if I right click on here, thing, I'm aware of that, so I know that I can handle deleting something from the list. I could ask the question there, do you really want to delete such and such? So like a few little minor alterations. Delete on right click. Make sure that not to add the same thing twice. That's it. That's the program. It does exactly what I wanted this to do, but it's a lot less noisy. That's the problem. I want to just finish the delete thing, and then it's done. I'll somehow put it in my startup, and there used to be something called startup in here. Or I could make an installer. You can make an installer that put something in startup. Now when I open startup, all I gotta do is put it in here. And that doesn't require any administrative privilege. I wonder if InnoSetup might have a way of bypassing that yellow box. And I can make an install script, and that's it. Yeah, magical program. There it is, running. QuickList. Okay, what do I have here? I want some of the other things I have. To do this. Okay. All right. So now you've seen this code. If you want a copy of what I've got here, which is still kind of a mess, just send me a message and I'll send you a zip file. See ya. I guess I might as well tack again on the end of this one that it's done. I completed it. I put it in my startup and installed EmEditor. That was the last I see of that ever again. Start. There it is. There it is. A few things that I use. This works fine. I don't know if there was anything. Sometimes I like to look at this thing. Whatever. I can. The delete works if I want to get rid of one. So it doesn't mistakenly take that as a thing. So that's perfect. I could add more features, of course, but I don't really want features. That's the one reason why I wanted to have this program, was to get rid of the feature. Now, to do already had in there. You'll notice it hasn't re-added itself. That's it. All done. The source, if you're curious, can be requested, and I will make it available to anyone who wants it. Okay. See you.